Welcome to 65, a podcast dedicated to amplifying the voices and experiences of senior citizens across Nigeria. In each episode, we explore the rich histories, challenges, and triumphs of older adults, shedding light on their invaluable contributions to society. Stay with me as we welcome today's guest. We are very privileged and honored to have His Eminence, Cardinal John Onaiyekan, the Archbishop Emeritus of Abuja. He's not a new face or a new person to us. He's been with us for a long time. Our very special Baba, as some of us call him, has been in the priesthood for almost 56 years exactly. And he's been a bishop. He was a bishop for over 30 years.
Yes, actually over 40.
Over 40 years. He's had a renowned career as a priest, as a bishop, as an archbishop, as a cardinal. He was made a cardinal in 2012.
2012, yes.
And he participated in the conclave that elected Pope Francis in 2015. He's made a lot of contributions, not only in the Catholic Church, but in the Nigerian society. He's had several awards. He founded the Cardinal John Foundation for Peace in 2010 and co-founded the Interfaith Initiative for Peace in 2012.
With His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto,
With the Eminence.
Saad Abubakar.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very important to mention that.
Very important, very important. And I think, was that NIREG? Because I know you...
No, actually, since you raised the issue,
yes,
that initiative started because NIREG was moribund.
NIREG became moribund at that time.
It was comatose. We don't know whether it was comatose or moribund, but NIREG was not active due to unhelpful position taken by the then president of Khan, Pastor Ayo Orise Jafo. And his position, his utterances completely shut off our Muslim partners. So the whole NIREG was grounded. Then somehow the Sultan and I, who had been co-chair of NIREG before and who had enjoyed very good relationship, were asking ourselves, can't we continue to do something? Must everything depend on who is chairman and who is not? In the case of the Muslim, they are luckier because the chairman is always the president of the Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, the Sultan of Sokoto, and he normally doesn't change every 4 years.
No, he doesn't. It will take a while.
He is more permanent.
Yes.
So that's how we came together to form this Interfaith Initiative for Peace.
And how has that been going?
It goes up and down too. For example, in the last year or two, it had been slowed down quite a bit. And I think part of the reason why it slowed down was also because of negative currents all around us. That makes it difficult even for people to meet together more often. It's not an initiative for Sultan and I alone. We are groups of people, but who were interested in our feelings and who decided we work together. Those people too, they come and go. Because people come, join initiatives for their own particular personal reasons. If it goes well with them, they cut on. If it doesn't, they just
fall away.
But the idea and belief is very, very valid. We cannot rely only on NIREG for interfaith initiatives in Nigeria. We are also welcoming other groups that come up in the meantime in the same way. So that's regard to our Nigerian Interfaith Initiative for Peace. Yes. So it's not dead. Yeah. It's just resting.
Let me welcome you again and to thank you very specially because you honored us last year when the podcast was first initiated. You launched the podcast for us.
That's a great honor.
We remain grateful.
A great honor for me.
Thank you. Your Eminence, in your days growing up, what were your perspectives, or how did you see the elderly?
In my days growing up, I think me probably, and you too, we are that generation that is like a bridge between the old and the new. We saw the old in all ramifications. We saw the old in terms of how the church was run. We saw the church, that Catholic church that was run as Roman church. In my town, we call our Catholics, we are Romans. Roman. Our primary schools were RCM, second primary schools, Roman Catholic mission. We worshipped with the Reverend Father backing us, say in Latin, and all that.
Yes.
That was the old. It was the church in which I was baptized and confirmed. Then, the 1960s came and Vatican II came, and we had a new, different approach to our Catholic Church has grown up to something different. I would say the Catholic Church has risen up to be able to meet up the challenges of the modern world, which was the whole reason why Pope John the 23rd called the Second Vatican Council since 1965. Now, that's 65 is more than 60 years now.
More than 60 years now.
And so a lot of water has passed under the bridge. And so we have on our hands now a church that is not just modern church, but contemporary. And therefore, if it is contemporary, it must be constantly evolving.
Changing, evolving.
Evolving and meeting up with the challenges of the day. This is the area of my own particular part of my own spiritual journey. But when we look beyond that to the world around us, I grew up before independence. So, as children even, we were waving the Union Jack and singing, God Save Our Gracious King. So that and we were familiar with the white DOs and all that, just like we're familiar with the white missionaries.
Yes.
Our Reverend Fathers were all white. But it is in that context that we had our daily lives in the family and with the elders making. We knew the elders among us. We knew the younger people. We knew the old mamas and the old papas. But we also knew our brothers who were also married with our aunties. So you have different levels of families, all within the same compound. We all lived together. In those days, therefore, the perception of the elder are more or less like those who have survived the difficulties of life, where others have died young. They have survived and arrived at old age. So much so that one of the greatest blessings that elders pass on to their children when they greet them is that, oh, you've done well, my child. You will grow old.
Amen.
Wadagba.
Yes. You
will grow old. It is seen to be, that means you will live a successful life. Growing old was seen as achieving one's objective in life. We felt that way about the aged. Now looking back, I'm sure the aged were also feeling the pains and the aches of old age.
Pains and aches of old age.
But they were not complaining.
No.
We didn't hear them complain.
They were stoics.
It was taken like that's what it is. And it is understood that an old man will go stooping, that he will not be able to move fast, that he will take time to get up. It was normal. That is a sign of old age. And we who were younger, we respected them for that. That's what it means to be an old person. So that is what I get from my childhood background, culturally speaking. There was no question of the elders left behind at home while the young people are have jackpot abroad or even within the nation. So you only see old. You get to a house, there's one old man there, an old woman there, with sometimes with some grandchildren who came around to play. No, that didn't happen. Everybody was together. The entire intergenerational community was together. That's that time. A lot has changed now since then. In those days, one or two members of the family would travel out. And they went in Kaba we say orashi. Ashi means you went somewhere, but that was unusual. That was not normal. And whenever those ones came back, it was the BFEs. Oh, they have come back. Nowadays, almost everybody is going out.
Even the old ones want to go with them.
Well, the old ones, do you blame them? Because they are left alone at home. They are left alone at home. As you know, there is this the syndrome we have now, even whereby almost the entire family has gone to America. The first one goes successfully and brings in the second, and then brings in the third, and they brought their wives, and then they are left at home is the old man and the old woman. Even though they send money by Western Union, but Western Union check will not go to bank to bring money.
No,
it will not go to the market to buy foodstuffs. And certainly it's not going to come into the house to sweep the room and tidy up the place. So even if you are getting regular monetary contributions from your children abroad, it's not the same.
It can't be.
Even when they budget for you to employ a caregiver, we all know what caregivers. Some are wonderful. May God bless them. Some are not so wonderful. Maybe they just need the money. And caregiving, for me, is a vocation not given to everybody.
You're bringing me to the issue of spirituality when you talk about vocation. For you personally, how has the journey to old age, how has it been, both spiritually and physically?
I must say, as a priest, you meet all kinds of people. And not just meeting them by the way. You meet them pastorally.
Yes.
You meet them with involvement. You meet them with a spirit of empathy. You listen. You are forced to listen to their stories. We've seen so many people. And from that point of view, I would say spiritually and even emotionally and whatever, I have been very lucky. I have been very lucky. The sense that from early childhood, I discovered my vocation, meaning what God's will for me is.
Thy will be done.
That's the word. Exactly. I see my vocations as meaning effort to follow God's will. And thanks be to God, other things worked to get together for me to be able to continue with that main framework and perspective on life. And therefore, if you take it that way, then I always tell everybody the only ambition I had in life was to become a Reverend Father.
Yes.
That's the only thing I would say. I prayed God, please God, let me be a Reverend Father. And once I got that in the 3rd of August, 1969, I was settled. My idea then was I was remaining going to be a Reverend Father until I die. Well, I knew there were many ways of being Reverend Fathers. I didn't know which one. I think whatever one it is, I'm already to know that every morning I'll wake up and go and say Mass for the people of God. And every Sunday I will stand there and preach and etc. and all that. And I can go around in Sutan and so. That was all I looked forward to. But as God would have it, things worked out. Yes, according to His own will. Yeah. According to His own will. Whether in terms of my priestly appointments And the decisions taken by my superiors for the time I was a young priest, they did the decision to send me for studies.
Yes.
And they sent me for studies, postgraduate studies, doctorate studies. And with that, I came back as a reverend father, but a reverend father that has skills and knowledge.
Yes.
That you can't just sit in the village. I could be effective in the village, but that's not all. So I ended up being most of my life as a reverend father in formation, teaching of not just academic teaching, but teaching young people on their road to the priesthood. So either junior seminary, my first year as a priest, or major seminary, which is more serious, after I returned home with my doctorate. And I was in Ibadan, major seminary, for upward of 6 years. When, again, as God decided it, which is not part of my ambitions, I was called by Pope John Paul II to be a bishop. And again, even there too, most people, they become a bishop of a diocese and they stay there for all their lives, doing what they do, doing their work, and running the race to the end and waiting for their crown of glory.
Yes.
But I started in Ilorin. From Ilorin, Abuja was developing. It was a great project, not only for the nation, but our offices in Rome, in the Vatican, were also looking at Abuja with keen interest.
Yes.
And they decided that they must take it seriously. And so, first of all, the first appointment made to start keeping touch with Abuja when it was just work sites, nothing was there, was Cardinal Ekandem, who was already, talking of age, he was already an aged old man, over 70. And they brought him here as the first bishop of Abuja, with a personal title of Archbishop, which is one of those rare situations we have in our church, because an archbishop is the bishop of an archdiocese. But when a bishop is appointed to a diocese,
and given
and
that
then
title,
they can be given the title of archbishop. So it's archbishop, bishop of the diocese. That's how I eventually was appointed to work with him as coadjutor. So obviously, those who took the decision, they must have thought that I'm the kind of person who could face the challenges of a developing federal capital. And that was the job I did for almost 30 years.
yes,
Right before my eyes, Abuja was growing and growing and growing. The church had to grow, because as Abuja was growing and people were moving in, they were moving in with their faith. So we're getting Catholics coming in. Our church was growing not because we were working hard at evangelization, converting pagans and Muslims. No. It was growing because Catholics were coming to Abuja. So we had to design our pastoral plans and programs in such a way that is largely one of accommodating, welcoming Catholics and helping them to settle. And so we need to acquire land, start parishes, start schools for them, maybe healthcare, and those things which the church does.
But you did go into the villages too.
Of course.
You did go into those villages.
As you know, Abuja, there's a when you start talking of villages in Abuja, it's not the same as talking of villages in my own my area of Kaba, you know. For the simple reason that the area, federal capital territory that was cut off, was theoretically meant to be empty virgin land.
Yes.
The villages that seemed to be important that were there at that time, the idea was to move them all out of the federal capital, and they did in a good number of cases. That's why we have today the new Nyanya. Nyanya was a village. It was supposed to have been moved out to what is now, where is now. We have new Nyanya. The same thing, there was a new Wuse on the Kaduna Road. That was the plan. Like they say, man proposes, but the situations dispose. So we didn't really have big villages around when I came. The funny thing is that very often you suddenly find a village starts growing. And So sometimes the villages are even growing not from native Bagis themselves, but by
the people
the
who were
people, the
coming
settlers who come in to create the villages. So that is what we can say. My present Archbishop Gagama has put a particular focus on the local inhabitants who still who now emerge as being part, or visible part of the FCT. But it was not supposed to be so at the first time. Yeah. All the names we have here, Gadua, Gwarimpa, Garki, Wuse, all of them,
yes.
they were names of small settlements, not villages really.
Just settlements.
And those settlements were not permanent because the Bagis here were moving around. They've been in a place, farm for about 3, 4, 5 years. The land is tired, and they moved to another place.
Yes.
For people, for Southerners, we from the north who are used to ancestral homes, my town, my village, when we come here, you don't see such things really. Yeah. You don't see such things. And that has affected the Bagis because they have always been an itinerant people. They never call any place their own. So people thought they don't exist. The result is that we have Bagis in Kogi State, we have Bagis here in every city, we have Bagis in Niger, we have Bagis in Kaduna, and of course in Nasarawa. And their elites are now really seriously worried about that. That's how come we don't, it's as if we don't exist. But it's because of their way
of life.
Yeah. In fact, politically speaking, you end up finding that very often they don't even organize themselves in like to be their traditional ruler. We hardly find it. Instead, other people establish chiefdoms and they live happily under
them.
Yes.
Under them.
Happily under them. There's, of course, a few exceptions, like where, for example, now we have the king in Karo.
Yes,
he's a Bagi king. He has been there for quite some time. Yes, it's at least he had a population here before the federal capital came. But other was some of the new people they are calling chiefs and they are modern inventions. Now, talking about me, therefore, I ended up here as first as bishop, and within 2 years, Abuja was created archdiocese. Again, this is this Holy See who sits there in Rome with a map of Nigeria and helping us be planning the future.
Okay.
And it was clear, and the bishops' conference had made it clear that this project called Abuja is going to be serious. The federal capital is going to be there, and therefore the church must be very well established there. In fact, Cardinal Onaiyekan tried his best to convince the government to include a Catholic cathedral among the project for the federal capital territory, because the federal capital territory made a project of a national mosque, and actually they said a national cathedral. National mosque, well, made sense for the Muslims, but national cathedral didn't make sense for the Christians.
Because
a cathedral is the see of a bishop. But is there a bishop who can be called the Bishop of Nigeria? It was not possible. And actually, that delayed the implementation of our building of what we now have, and we don't even know what to call it. It was called Ecumenical Center. People were calling it Economic Center, and it was a bit of a confusion. Now it is called National Christian Center.
But we have our own.
Now, therefore, we couldn't get the government to agree to give Catholic Church its own cathedral, different from the Christian Center. In fact, I don't think it was even the government or the Muslims who opposed us. It was more our own Christians who keep bringing up this whole idea. Why must you take the Catholics over separately, differently, as if they are not Christians too? We have never denied that we are Christians. We are Christians. The only thing we often say is that we are Christians with a difference.
Definitely.
We are Catholics.
Catholics. I remember young men were ordained last week, Saturday, at the Church of the Archangels. And when the Archbishop came, he told them to understand who they are as Catholics,
yes,
and that they are not prosperity
preachers. Yes. So I became Archbishop, and I had tasked not only in my archdiocese, not only in Nigeria. God gave me an opportunity to serve the church at international, global level. The high point was when Pope Francis decided to make me a cardinal.
Cardinal. That was wonderful.
And so if you are looking at my life, I would say God had been moving me, and I've been following to where I did not intend, I didn't plan to go, but wherever I'm put, I'm happy, and I do my best there. So you can see my old age then coincided with my elevation within my priestly life. And normally, yes, cardinals cannot be small boys.
No.
So when you're a cardinal, you are a senior, an elder. Some prefer to use the word the prince of the church, but I don't like prince because the Pope is not a king. And in any case, even if the Pope were a king, I'm not the son of the Pope. But yes, the level of the cardinal as a close collaborator of His Holiness the Pope, which I took as a great honor and a great grace, which I continue to enjoy whether I run a diocese or not. Yes.
How does the Catholic Church view the elderly? Do they have a role to play in the development of society?
The church, like all Christians, and I imagine even Islam too, they have had always the reference to age as a gift of God. When you are those who are old are those whom God has maintained to old age. And old age was also the repository of wisdom, including spiritual wisdom. So that has been part and parcel of the attitude of the church. And we must say that Pope Francis raised this focus about taking care and respecting the importance of the elderly in our midst. And especially those who may call the Inone, meaning the grandparents.
The grandparents, yes.
The grandparents. And he stresses the grandparents in order to bring out the element of intergenerational community.
Community connection.
A grandparent has somebody who has 3 generations at least that branches. So you have the grandparents, the parents who are probably the very active adults, and then the children who are growing up. But they all form one community. And Pope Francis insists that we should not consider the elders and the aged as useless because they are not active, because they are not productive in the modern sense of the word, that their role to stabilize the community, their role as people with wisdom about how life works, even their spiritual role. Francis used to stress the role of grandmothers teaching their grandchildren the rosary and how to pray. That this, for him, he learned to pray from his grandmother. And therefore, we should please do all we can now to give the elderly their proper role. Now, that resonates well with me and you, because that was the kind of role we saw our grandparents have when we were children.
Yes.
We were living in the same agbole, the same house. Father, mother, and your grandparents if they were still alive. If not, they will be grand uncles. As you know, in our own grandpa, there's no such thing as grand uncle. Everybody is a grandfather. Grandfather, and then we children. So, and they all lived. Everybody lived together. There was no situation of abandoned elders living alone in the house with nobody to take care of them. Those who are strong go to farm and come back, and they meet the old man at home. Sometimes the old man tries to follow them, but he's not going to be the one to start digging in the farm. No, he has other things more important to do.
And he has done that too.
Yes, he has done it. He has done his own.
He has paid his own dues.
He has done his own dues. But when it comes to quarrel between the people, they often go to the old man to get their issues resolved. And he will resolve their issues on the basis of his own experience of life, which is the elder as the depository of wisdom, which modern life is missing considerably. And I think, the missing of this is even more critical in the so-called developed countries. Even though we have also, it has reached us too, because now the whole world is a village. We have a situation now, especially in Nigeria, many places, the elders are left alone in the villages. And even when they want to go and join their children who have jackpot, this is easy.
It isn't.
Because an old man of 75, 80, who has never traveled out of Nigeria, you get him a visa, and the Americans are very generous. They give visa to old people in the way they would not give to a 20-year-old, 27-year-old boy. You get a visa for your daddy, and it comes. First of all, the visa to mommy, because his mom is the one who get visas to go and do omugo. and when the mothers go to do omugo and stay 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, Papa is left at home all alone. Sometimes he really complains, "You have taken away my wife." And I'm left alone. And sometimes the solution is to bring the old man to go and join them. To join them in the middle of New York, in Houston, Atlanta. Where do they go? Yes.
What kind of connection?
And the woman who is just there cannot go across the street to visit anybody.
No.
And I hope our diaspora community are aware of the trauma of the elderly people that they bring from Nigeria to come and resolve their own problem. Because they are bringing them to resolve their own problem of the fact that they have no time to look after their children. Because the elderly granny are not supposed to replace daddy and mommy. They cannot replace daddy and mommy.
So we have a problem there.
Yes.
When we uproot our elderly abroad.
Oh, yes, there is
what
a problem.
What about those people who are here?
How
does Nigeria
we have
treat
a major problem, or whichever way you go. It's like if you leave them at home, they are lonely at home. Nobody to take care of them. At most you employ a nanny or a caregiver, but if you are lucky, you get a good caregiver. If you may be lucky that some members of the family who are still at home will take care of the other elders, if you are lucky. And that normally, that will happen, of course, if the extended family has been kept more or less a bit together. In other words, when a particular branch of the extended family has done well in America or in England, but has made sure that the rest of the extended family have somehow shared in their progress, then if the extended family is that way, then they will be ready to take care of everybody else. But that has to build up. I don't know whether that kind of feeling, attention is building up yet. What we do find is, you find a member of the extended family that has made it. He came home and has built a big mansion in the village, which nobody is living in. Yeah. Comes home only once in 2 years or so, and what happens? What sense does it make? Doesn't make. Instead of building a big mansion for yourself, can they not think of doing something for the entire community?
For the entire community. So that
where everybody lives better. That is the whole story. But that's part of the modern life. Modernity tends to make us selfish. Modernity tends to make us think just of ourselves and of our own progress. We don't think very much about others. Whereas our tradition is to think about
communal.
others. Yes. The people in the southern part of Africa have been telling us about their concept of Ubuntu, meaning I am because we are. In other words, I will be nothing if we are not. In other words, no matter how successful I am, if everybody around me has not made it, I am nothing.
So that this idea, we've had a couple of interviews, and some of the elderly have talked about the abandonment, this feeling of being discarded.
Discarded because they are considered useless. They are no longer productive. Even their pension is not coming in. They have not left any major estate. If there's estate to share, people will run out. You'll see them all around, like vultures to share.
Yes.
They will be ready to get the best lawyers to pounce on the. But that's all they'll be interested in. That is, practically speaking, waiting for the old man to die.
I saw.
And if he somehow stubbornly remains alive, are
they stubborn, or that they're waiting for God to die?
They are waiting for God's time. that raises a whole other question, which I think I want to talk about now from a spiritual point of view.
Yes.
And it is an idea that has come to me very strongly, since I got past 70, the sum of our years, and God's grace puts me in good health till 80 for those who are strong. And nobody should blame me if I keep talking, if I talk about nothing more again about Dan, where am I going next?
Yes.
And the fact that I have run the race, I've kept the faith, I'm looking forward to paradise. And as you know, the image I always use is that I have my boarding pass ready.
Yes.
The boarding pass is ready. The destination.
How does that come about? Every old person is talking about a boarding pass, because my mother talks about.
Is that so?
And she's in the lounge. She's in the
waiting lounge.
Waiting lounge.
Yeah, because that's what our life is like. Yeah, in your waiting lounge, the boarding pass. The important thing is that your boarding pass must have the destination clearly written. The only thing missing is the time of departure. Now,
which only one person knows.
Yes. Only one person knows. You are waiting for the bell for the announcement, and then you get ready to go. Now, blessed are those old people who see their lives at that stage as a waiting for something better. Because there are some old people who are looking at they see the end coming. But if there is no clear view about what comes after, it's like the end, full stop. That everything that's the end. How do you survive with that?
Kind of thinking.
With no thinking of something else.
Something else.
Not just else,
better.
but much better coming up. So, they normally say, essence of old age is that most people have no idea, they have no notice about when they will die. Even though some people die young. 20-year-old people die in the car crash or whatever. And if you are 30, 40, you are not thinking of dying yet.
No.
So please don't talk to them about boarding pass. Because they are busy preparing their project of life. But when you have finished your project of life, and there's nothing more for you to look up to, if you don't have something definite that you're looking up to, then the old age becomes miserable. And no amount of material support will cover up for the emptiness of what the life is. So I always say, we who are still alive, those who are alive after 70, after 80, we are very lucky, because we know that we have been given a notice. We have a notice.
Sometimes very long.
Yeah, doesn't know how long this notice will be, but we know it's coming. It's coming. We all know that death will come. But for the elder man, this knowing death is coming is very real. It is coming. And I think it is a grace of God to be able to live your last years of this life with this spirit of expectation and not a spirit of trepidation.
Expectation and not trepidation. How does the church deal with its own aging priests and the religious? Do they have a program? Is there a model that can...
Let's talk generally.
Yes.
The church certainly expects us to take care of our elders.
Yes.
And it goes under the third commandment, honor your father and your mother. So we are supposed to take care of our elders. If it is so, generally, we certainly must take care of our priests and our bishops. Technically speaking, it is in canon law. It is in canon law that the diocese must arrange the maintenance of its priests. The priest should have a decent maintenance. Now, the same thing is extended to those who are old, aged, and even those who are sick and cannot move around anymore. They need special attention, and that should be given to them. It is in canon law. For example, take me now. I'm 81 years old. I'm not running parish anymore. I'm not running the diocese. Technically speaking, I don't sign any more checks. But it is part of the law of the church that my diocese, or to be more precise, my archbishop, must make sure that I have a decent. And how does that happen? Many people wouldn't know. But the fact is that, therefore, a budget has to be made for my decent upkeep. Take care of my feeding, take care of my house, maintenance of the house, even my movement, and to some extent, my health. If I'm lucky that I don't have serious health challenges. So my health, the only cost I cure about my health is the usual medication that old people must take for sugar, for high blood pressure, even though that is the cost of those things are skyrocketing now. Apart from that, I sleep well. I wake up well. I try to eat well. By eat well, I mean eat in a way that helps my health. And it seems, and I have a good doctor who keeps checking up on me.
You're one of the lucky ones.
I'm a lucky.
What about those people, especially Nigerian elderly, who do not have any kind of medical plan, but have the health challenges that are...
And this is why we are saying that the government should step in, since the old system has collapsed. The new system should be, as a modern way, it is done elsewhere. Every elderly person is on pension, whether you worked or not. At a given age, you have free health care for normal cases.
Can we afford it? That's what people keep saying.
You can afford it if you want to. If you cannot afford it, how come we can afford putting Buhari dying in the hospital in London for 3 million naira a day? We could afford that. How come we can afford? That was paid by government.
It was.
So it's a matter of
priorities.
When government is running either on selfishness or on service. If it's running on selfishness, it's only thinking of themselves. If it's running on service of the people, it is taken about the community. And where there is a will, there's always a way.
How would you advise the younger generation? How should they treat older people? Is there hope for us? Or will we always have
There is hope. The younger generation need to be helped. They need to be helped first to appreciate the value of the elders among them. They should not keep following what is on TikTok and all that. Okay. See how they are living, how those people are living up there, thinking that they are in paradise. Even thinking about the celebrities in Nigeria, whether they're in paradise, and I tell them, have you visited them? Are you close contact with them? Do you are they happy?
And do we see how they end up?
Exactly. If they are happy, if they are ladies, they are very, very. How come they are changing husband every 2 years? If they are happy, is that what happiness is all about? So, change your view of life. Give your elders an opportunity to give you some ideas. And of course, that means listen to whoever is your spiritual leader. Secondly, never forget that if you don't die young, you will grow old.
In other words, like the Yorubas say, makon makon.
Yeah, it will be your turn.
It will be your turn.
If you don't die young, you will grow old. And when you grow old, you will expect. I use that very much when we're trying to devise policies for looking after our aged priests. And in our meeting of priests, and I tell them, fathers, if you don't die young, you will grow old. So let us make good provisions for elderly people, because we are making these provisions for ourselves. It is enlightened selfishness.
And that is a good place for us to bring this conversation to a close.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for joining us.
Call me again next year if I'm still alive.
I will, because you know you are our spiritual father and the mentor for 65. Follow, like, and share, and post, leave a message, a comment on any of our media handles. We've had a wonderful and interesting episode today, talking with His Eminence, John Cardinal Onaiyekan. Until I come your way again, it's bye for now.